Thanks for tuning in to NBC News Daily. I'm Abby Price with your Midday Ark-La-Miss update. At the state capitol, the push for a constitutional convention before the fall election is not over yet. A Republican mega donor and Governor Jeff Landry ally is making a pitch to lawmakers on a framework for constitutional changes. Capitol reporter Shannon Hecht brings us insight into what could be on the table.
While time is running low for the legislature to pass changes to the state constitution in order to get it in front of voters this November, allies to Governor Jeff Landry are not giving up the fight. Republican mega donor Lane Grigsby chaired the transition committee focused on the Constitution. He echoes a message from the governor saying that some funds, tax exemptions, and agencies should be taken out of the Constitution and put into policy so lawmakers can make changes without having to put it to a vote of the people.
Policy should not be in the Constitution. Everybody wants to leave their portion in the Constitution.
Grigsby sent out a draft of the proposed changes for the Constitution that included altering how funding for K-12 schools is calculated, leaving the homestead exemption up to the locals, and opening up civil service to changes in order to help lawmakers face the looming budget shortfall.
9 out of every $10 in our $50 billion state budget is already pre-spent before the legislatures walk into the building.
There are already talks from the Revenue Secretary about finding ways to do away with the income tax.
You don't always have to replace a revenue stream if you can cut cost. So we have a budget that's basically started over every year. This is what I got last year. How much can I get this year?
Lawmakers would have to call themselves back into session to set up the rules for a convention, and they'd have to wrap up their work by the end of August to get it on the fall ballot. For your local election headquarters, I'm Shannon Hecht.
And on to a news update in the kidnapping murder case against Daniel Callahan. In Tangipahoa Parish, he's been arraigned for the murders of Callie Burnett and her 4-year-old daughter. Callahan pleaded not guilty to all charges. Prior to the arraignment, he was booked at the Tangipahoa Parish Jail on multiple counts, including first-degree murder and kidnapping Burnett's 2 children last month. Callahan is already facing federal charges and state charges in Mississippi. The DA there says he'll seek the death penalty following the booking and arraignment. And moving to some Arkansas news, election officials on Wednesday rejected petitions submitted for an abortion rights ballot measure that organizers hoped to put before voters this fall in a predominantly Republican state. The Secretary of State's office rejected the petition submitted on Friday by supporters of the proposal, saying the group didn't submit statements required regarding paid signature gatherers. Organizers on Friday submitted more than 101,000 signatures. The measure would have barred laws banning abortion in the first 20 weeks of gestation and allowed the procedure later in pregnancy in cases of rape, incest, threats to the woman's health or life, or if the fetus would be unlikely to survive birth.
And now, exclusive Storm Tracker Doppler weather with meteorologist Chase Ward.
It's still going to be very hot and humid for this afternoon as our temperatures climb to upper 90s, and with dew points holding out mid to upper 70s, pushing near the lower 80s, it's still going to put the heat index well above into the triple digits, so we will see heat index climb to near 109, 110, kind of borderline excessive heat warning criteria. So continue to practice heat safety. If you can avoid this afternoon, definitely recommend it. Won't see a whole lot of relief here in the short term. We'll kind of see mostly clear conditions, with a few clouds roll in a little bit later on tonight. We're only going to fall to upper 70s, staying muggy during the overnight hours. Now, as we go into tomorrow, we are expecting a frontal boundary to arrive from the northwest, which will spark up scattered shower thunderstorms across central Arkansas. And then by late Wednesday night, that's when that front starts to draw a little bit closer to the Ark-La-Miss, and we'll start to see some development of some rain and thunderstorms. We'll kind of lose a little daytime heating when it arrives late tomorrow night. And then as we go into Thursday, the front will be kind of near the Ark-La-Miss, and thus we'll pick up a more widespread activity and potentially cooling us down a little bit. But until then, heat advisory in effect for the entire Ark-La-Miss because that heat index climbing to above 105, so make sure you're practicing heat safety. Expecting a low about 77 degrees for tonight. Then tomorrow we'll see that front arrive late. It's going to be late tomorrow night when it does, so really not in time to give us a break from the extreme heat, so still expect upper 90s for tomorrow's high. Now throughout the rest of the week, that front will kind of stall out and we'll kind of get a break from the extreme heat as we fall to potentially upper 80s by Friday and staying a little bit more comfortable through the weekend.
See the live video from El Dorado with the El Dorado Tower Cam. Every newscast on NBC 10 News, sponsored by Blackman's Furniture.